Ladies and gentlemen, the wait is almost over. Hello everyone and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. I'm Commander Exorcist and we are approximately 1 week away from the ARX store purchase early access release of the Panther Clipper Mark II, which is marking the return of the Panther Clipper to the Elite universe after almost 10 years of begging from the community to the developers wanting to see this ship in some form return to the Elite universe. Now, there's a lot of lore and legend behind this ship. And I've talked a little bit to some folks online on social media and other places about whether the lore and the expectations could potentially outweigh any implementation of the Panther Clipper Mark II or the Panther Clipper, whatever it was going to be when it arrived into Elite Dangerous. So the question is, does the ship add up? Does the ship measure up to expectations? And so we're going to see. So fortunately, as a member of the Elite Partner Program, I get an opportunity to fly this ship a little bit early, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to take the ship out for a flight. I'm going to show you a couple of angles you can see here on your screen. Got a couple of nice cinematic shots that we're looking at now to give you an idea of the ship's structure. Now, make no mistake, I know that it has been talked about online, and it's part of the selling point that Frontier has also thrown out there. But please, make no mistake, this ship is a beast. Hauling will never be the same, legit, because this thing is massive. Now, the one that I am flying in this video, and one you're seeing on your screen, it is the stock standard Panther Clipper. I haven't done any engineering to it. I've done no work to this ship other than put some decals on it, because so it comes in the standard boring gray model, but I put the single livery that's available and added some decals just to give it a little bit of flavor. It is a beast, both in its capabilities, flight mechanics, and its construction. It just looks heavy industrial. It looks like a flying factory, if you ask me. In fact, if you take a look on your screen, it has a bunch of manifolds. So a bunch of nozzles coming off of this thing. And this is great because it's part of the design philosophy that Frontier has talked about for the Panther Clipper, is using multiple instances of some smaller assets to give that sense of scale. So you can imagine that each one of these manifolds is bigger than a human being, well bigger than a human being. And then you throw a bunch of those onto a single engine cluster, and you really get a sense for just how incredibly huge this starship is. So the Panther Clipper, when it sits on the ground, it kind of looks like a frog about to leap off the ground. Its legs kind of fold back. It's heavily detailed. There's a lot of cool little alcoves and little notches in the hull that have got that expose kind of like a semi-interior section that give the ship some personality. So it's a fascinating design. It's just really the biggest way to describe it is it's big. It's a huge honker of a ship, and it's going to be interesting to see the things, and I mean it, the various things that are done with this ship throughout the years. So you can see right there, it does come with a cool Panther Clipper owner's decal. That was kind of neat. So but you can see here, just in comparison to a ground surface installation, I mean, this thing dwarfs. It's probably as big as some of the command bases, the command buildings at some of the Odyssey surface installations. So it has a huge physical area displacement, and it is really awesome. But you can see it kind of looks like a frog there. Looks like it's about to leap off the ground. And each of the landing gear, the way they stand up when the ship is on the ground, kind of look like defensive turrets, like missile launchers, like they're ready to launch and annihilate anyone that approaches. And really, you really get a sense of scale when you get out of your ship and start walking around this thing. It's freaking huge. And so really enjoying the design. I think that the design fits very well with the overall aesthetic in Elite Dangerous. So very happy. I was happy originally when they showed it, but now that I'm actually able to get my hands on it, fly around, see it next to other installation pieces and with my commander on foot, I'm really enjoying it. Check this out. I love, so when you put down the landing gear, they fold down, the back section slides down, and then when you put the landing gear up, it extends out and the back landing gear slides up to reduce the ship's overall profile, which is what allows it to be so large and to function in the context of, you know, the landing pads in Elite. And so it there's another shot of the manifolds. There's just so many of these nozzles on this thing, and it roars. You can feel it when you're flying. You can feel the effect of all of these independent engines working together, just the massive amount of thrust that is at your fingertips. You really can feel, you know, the effects of what's going on with the ship. And so here we have a nice, we are in the air now, so flying around in this thing, I was trying to think of how to describe the flight feeling for it, and I believe that the closest description that I can give to flying the Panther Clipper is an Anaconda. It handles like an Anaconda, not like a Corvette. I think a Corvette is much more cumbersome than an Anaconda, but I think that this ship, the flight model, feels very close to that of let's say a laden Anaconda. It's obviously you're carrying some cargo, but it is not that bad. It's got a pretty decent turn ratio, and it's got a pretty decent speed for its size. So unladen, it's about 250 as max with a boost. However, I have seen, and it's confirmed, that with, I believe it's dirty drags, that you can get it up to about 400 for boost. So for a gigantic cargo container like this, that's pretty amazing. It really is. So yeah, it's an exceptionally designed starship, and I think overall, from the short time that I've had to fly it around, test it, check it out, overall experience is wholly positive. I believe that I will have one of these for hauling operations. I know that there are some people out there that have talked about using these. You know, this is Elite Dangerous. We're going to have people that are going to use these for combat operations. You're also going to have folks that are out there that are going to try to explore in one of these things. Don't be surprised if there's a couple of these things flying Distant Worlds 3 as explorers. That's kind of what we do. But personally, I think it's going to be an excellent ship for hauling resources to Trailblazers installations, things especially the tier 3s, the big ones that need huge amounts of cargo moved over time. And so like I said, the demo that we're seeing here, we're flying around at the moment. I haven't engineered this at all. There are some partners, I believe, that are working on engineering to try to fix it up. I tend to not do that for my previews, just kind of show you the base model and what it can do. And for the decent performance that we're getting with the base model here, it does come, what does it come stock with? 192. So it comes stock with 192 cargo space. So yeah, completely unacceptable Frontier. Actually, it's really good. 1238 is, believe, is what it's going to be. But yeah, so I think the stock version is really nice, and there's plenty of opportunities to get out there and to engineer the components and actually make it work for you. But overall, I think that the Panther Clipper is really, it is the ultimate hauler. I don't see any reason not to use this thing. It's not going to be rank locked through rank progression for one of the superpowers. It's going to be immediately available via arcs first and then credits. So it is definitely worth picking up. All right, everybody, I think that is going to be it for this video. I've enjoyed flying it around. I'm not a huge Panther Clipper fanboy. Like I said, I started my journey in the Elite community, the Elite world, with Elite Dangerous, so I don't have a lot of the quote-unquote legendary perspective that some commanders have with regard to this ship. So it's not something that I was keeping me up at night that I had to have, but what Frontier has delivered here is a solid experience. And so you see, I can't even escape the pad loitering warning because my ship is just so large that it's always over top of some pad. And there we go. So now I have an additional fine. I've racked up a few of these flying this thing around today. So definitely recommend it if you're looking for an outstanding hauler or just looking to fly around a giant refinery. Yeah, pick it up. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for this one. You guys take care, fly safe, and I'll see you out there.